the grid were to go down for an extended period of time and you're having to cook for your family with the available fuel sources you have on hand, whether that be propane from a cooking grill or cooking over a fire pit, having the right cookware and utensils will make all the difference. In this video, we'll cover the items you'll need to make sure cooking the food you have will not be an issue. You can show your support for this channel by clicking the like button, sharing on social media, providing feedback in the comments section, and don't forget as a subscriber to click the bell icon below to get updates. Enjoy the video. A month ago I did a video entitled How to Cook After Disaster Fuel Sources, where I discussed the cooking fuel options you should have to ensure that you'll be able to cook if your power or gas lines went down. In this video, we'll discuss the cookware and utensils you should have to make sure you have everything you need to cook. We'll focus on short and medium term and a little long term cookware and utensils. We won't be going into a long-term discussion of long-term cookware you need on hand like grinders or mills or canning tools, but rather covering things that you may already have in your kitchen and a few other items. Once I get into prepping videos focusing on long-term prepping, and by long-term prepping I mean scenarios where the grid doesn't bounce back, we'll discuss long-term cookware options you should have. In addition, we'll cover other items you may not have considered in your preps that can make a big difference if the typical fuel sources like propane are exhausted and you're left cooking over fires or coals. I'll also put the links in the description section below of the items I'll discuss in this video for you to purchase if you want to support this channel. As always, thanks for purchasing the products from my links, as it helps the channel a great deal. Alright, so in this video we'll discuss the following: items you should have on hand to cook with, cast iron cooking options, plates and eating utensils, and lastly, cooking items for your bug out bag. So what are the items you should have on hand and may already have in your kitchen? These items are listed in no specific order, and we'll go through the items I'd recommend. Your items may differ based on the types of food you eat, and I'd love to get your feedback in the comments section below if I overlooked anything. Again, this is coming from the perspective of a short to medium term range disaster, and is a good starting point for you to build the cookware you'll need to ensure you and your family can cook the food you've got stored. So the first thing on my list is matches. You can pick these up for cheap at the dollar store or so many other places. Can't have enough of these on hand. Can opener. Having a good sturdy hand-operated can opener, and also keep a couple of P38s on hand for backup. I usually keep these in my keychain. Also remember, your multi-tool knife should have some of these on there as well. A cooking thermometer. This can be very valuable to ensure you've cooked your food thoroughly to help avoid getting sick. Cutting board or boards. Cheese grater. Knives. It's probably best to go with some good quality carbon knives. Also be sure to have a knife sharpener on hand. Pots and pans. Also make sure to have some good quality stainless steel pots and pans. A large stew pot will also be handy as well, since you can use this for not only cooking but for doing dishes, which is a subject we'll cover later. Water filter. Now this is probably one of my most used preps. Having a good water filter on hand will be extremely important to make sure your water is filtered and safe for cooking. We use a Berkey water filter daily, and if there were an emergency, having a clean source of water will be very important. Roasting pans, Pyrex glass 4-cup measuring cup, vegetable peelers. Probably wouldn't hurt to have a few extra around, as multiple people can work on peeling at the same time. A strainer. This will come in handy especially when cooking pasta. Serving spoons and ladle. Tea kettle, preferably stainless steel or copper. Metal spatulas. While we have some cheap plastic ones at home, remember when you're cooking over a fire, you're going to want something a little more substantial that won't melt. Serving spoons and forks. Whisk. Large mixing bowls. Again, go for the stainless steel option if possible. French press for coffee. I've said it before in my other videos, but without coffee, I'd be in a world of hurt. Plus, having coffee for those times when you're exhausted and needing a little bit of a pickup will come in handy. Now, the next subject that we'll cover is cooking with cast iron. As I was researching and preparing for this video, most articles discussing cookware in the context of prepping all pointed back to cast iron cookware. Now, there's a lot of reasons to have cast iron, especially when it comes to needing cookware that can handle the high temperature of cooking over a wood stove, open fire, or coals. Most of the pots and pans you may already have will not endure prolonged use over a fire. While the nice department store pot or pan you may have cost you a lot of money, it won't handle the extremes that cast iron can handle. Now, as I studied cast iron skillet options on the market, the name that repeatedly came up was Lodge. And just a disclaimer, I haven't received any type of payment from Lodge to discuss or promote their products, but when I find a product that I'm willing to buy for myself and I know my subscriber base will enjoy, I'm more than glad to share it with the community. They actually manufacture their products here in the United States, which is a rarity in this day and age. There's a lot of cast iron skillets you can purchase online that many of them come from China, but some of these have lead. And for the price point, you'd be hard pressed to find a better deal with this level of quality than their products. Having said that, I purchased their Dutch oven a while back and was very impressed with the quality. Before doing this video, I reached out to them, and for this video they shipped a 12-inch cast iron skillet, charcoal chimney starter, and a cast iron grill. Also, for the next month from the date this video is released, you can go to their website and get a 10% discount on purchases under $300 using the coupon code CityPrep10. And again, I'll put that link and that information in the description below. So be sure to check them out online. I think every prepper should have a cast iron skillet. They've been popular for years and are one of the most durable of cookware. A good 12-inch skillet has a lot of applications. You can use it on the stovetop to cook eggs or stir fry, or even use it in the oven to cook a deep dish pizza. It can be used indoors or outdoors and can withstand some very high temperatures that, again, your just standard cookware is not going to handle. Their surface is very hard, so you don't have to worry about damaging them when stirring food. In a grid-down disaster scenario, I can't think of another option I'd want in my kitchen. Even after being heated up, they maintain their heat for a considerable amount of time, which allows for fuel efficiency. They're built like a tank, and as long as you take care of them by seasoning them and drying them out after using them, they'll always perform for you. Even if you have neglected them and not properly seasoned them, they can be easily reseasoned. And you might want to pick up some mitts or an UV glove when handling these, as they can get very, very hot. Now, the only downside is their weight, which wouldn't be practical in a bug-out scenario, which we'll cover a little more in a moment. But for those staying in their home or going to a bug-out location, having a cast iron skillet and Dutch oven will be very important. As a side note, I didn't mention the cast iron grill in my video discussing fuel sources, but it's a good time to bring it up in this video. As I mentioned, Lodge was kind enough to provide me with one of these. In my previous video discussing cooking in your fireplace, I used a collapsible grill in the video. If the grid goes down for an extended period of time and you find yourself having to cook indoors a lot, having an option like this cast iron grill to put in your fireplace will be invaluable and will make it much easier to cook indoors. This is definitely one of those items I can utilize not only for prepping, but just for everyday life. Again, please check out Lodge online at lodgemfg.com and use the coupon code CityPrep10. You can save 10%. Alright, so not only is cookware important, but let's cover plates and utensils. Apart from the normal plates and utensils you already have that you use on a daily basis in your home, you might want to give consideration to disposable paper plates and bowls. Again, as mentioned earlier, we're covering options in this video from short to medium range disasters. Having disposable options will help reduce cleanup and the water you'd have to use to do dishes, and would ensure you would always have sanitary items to eat with. Plus, when you're in a stressful situation like you'd encounter after a disaster, having to do a lot of dishes would just be one more thing you wouldn't want to have to deal with. Also, the benefits of having yet another fuel source, in this case paper plates, could come in handy. I'd avoid styrofoam plates though, as these will add to the trash that will be difficult to dispose. We typically keep a supply of paper plates and paper napkins in the garage for parties and when we go camping. Also, having paper cups will be useful as well. We also keep a lot of disposable forks, spoons, and knives stored in the garage for social events, and again, having just one less thing to have to clean up will be helpful. Having a supply of rolls of paper towels is something you should also consider. Now, you may already have cooking gear in your bug-out bag, and if you don't, I'd recommend that you definitely do. Most of the items we've discussed so far are items you'd want to have in your home to use if staying in your home is an option. If staying in your home is not an option though, and you'd have to leave, here's the items I keep in my own bug-out bag. In my personal bug-out bag, I keep a solo stove and pot for heating water and cooking. I also have a titanium cup and spork. In my wife's bag, I have a similar setup with the Stanley Camp 24-ounce cook set, which includes a couple of cups inside. Again, it's important that you consider cooking gear when needing to be mobile. While the options for cooking gear when you're bugging out obviously won't be nearly as much as when you're staying in your home, these basic items are important to have. So there you have it. For some of you, these are options you may already have in your home, but for others, the things that I presented may give you some additional options to consider. In a future video, I will discuss dish sanitation and cleanup in the event the sewage and water lines are down. As always, I enjoy feedback from the YouTube community as you guys teach me a lot. If you have any other insight into anything I didn't cover, please comment below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like or share on social media. As always, be safe out there.